Why real estate? Because I like it. It's tangible. It's not like that bit awful. There's nothing to that.
A decent productive asset is going to kill a non-productive asset over time.
Now, if you're into it, you're going to argue with me. You're going to put all kinds of crazy things, tell me I'm crazy. Or you're going to say, oh, I made $100 million on Bitcoin. You didn't make $100 million on Bitcoin. You made money with other people's money going into Bitcoin, and then you just sold when you wanted to. There's no company there. There's no tangible thing, whatever. Don't get me started.
If you buy an ounce of gold today and you hold it 100 years from now, you'll have 1 ounce of gold, and it won't have done anything for you in between. If you buy 100 acres of farmland, it will produce for you every year. You can use that money to buy more farmland. You can do it, all kinds of things. For 100 years, it'll produce things for you, and you still have 100 acres of farmland at the end of the 100 years.
Hey, y'all. Oh my God, I sound like Paula Deen. Please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you like some of this stuff. I know we got about 5 or 6 new listings coming up. They're going to be all over the board. We've got a couple in a subdivision. We've got a couple farms. We even have an Amish farm. Y'all are asking for Amish farms all the time. I'm actually going to video this Amish farm, and I'm going to bring a buddy of mine who's an electrician and also another buddy of mine who's HVAC guy. Now, y'all is singular. Plural is all y'all. How you doing? It's been a couple weeks. We've been busier than a bird dog. We've been busier than a one-armed paper hanger. We've been busier than a one-legged man in a butt-kicking contest. That's really busy. I'm getting ready to take one of these educational videos.
With land, you can get somebody else to do all the work, give them a percentage of the crop, and you can sit back there for 100 years and get a percentage of the crop, and you still got the land when you get all through.
But I want to show you first what's going on. That's pretty cool, huh? So they're raking hay. First you cut it, mow it. Now it's not like bush hogging, where bush hog just makes a mess. Then you let it sit for a little while, then they rake it up 3-4 rows together with that big rake, and then he's baling it. And we get these real big bales. They're about 1,500 pounds, 1,200, 1,800 pounds, it just depends. I'm doing a time lapse for you. All right, come on, let's go back in. Okay, if you hear anything goofy, that's what's going on. They're baling hay, making hay. Gonna turn that grass into protein. All winter, those cows will have something to eat. Cows don't gain a lot in the wintertime without grain. The hay just isn't gonna cut it. Hey, doggies, good day. The hay just doesn't have enough nutrients, but it keeps them warm and keeps them going. So, there you go. Let another cow. Everything's going straight up. The last, year or two, everything's just been going straight up. Actually, since 12. All my older buddies said, don't buy real estate now. 2012, it's inflated. We're ready for a crash. A crash is looming. 2012. Then I got my younger buddies who I hang with, and they all just went buying like banshees. And they're worth hundreds of millions, and I've just sat around with my finger up my nose, and here I am. You can never really time this stuff. You can never predict, but I do get this question an awful lot. Is now a good time to buy? Or should I wait till next year? I don't know. Forbes is predicting, Forbes is trusted for sure. Forbes is predicting another year of low inventory. I don't really know how they're judging that. If you think about how many kids are becoming carpenters and masons and electricians, there's not that many. Are we going to have wonderful inventory at the end of next year? How are those houses going to be built? Like, I don't understand it. I'm not an economist. I don't know about too many things. I'm pretty one-dimensional. I'm a real estate guy. In 1998, Buffett was at Harvard, and he was doing his speech, and he says, gold, it has no utility. And I got to read it so I don't mess up one word. It has no utility. Gold gets dug out of the ground in Africa or someplace. Then we melt it down, dig another hole, bury it again, and pay people to stand around guarding it. Anyone watching from Mars would be scratching their head. That is a quote by Warren Buffett, and I think that's pretty funny. Of course, Warren Buffett's my hero. He invests in businesses. That's kind of cool. Coca-Cola, Amex, Pampered Chef, Dairy Queen, Geico, you know what Geico stands for? Government Employee Insurance Company. Of course, that's why you can save 15% or more on your car insurance. Hey, not sponsored by Geico. Hello, Warren, Uncle Warren. We're Berkshire stockholders. Give me a call. Maybe we can connect. Hey, let's have lunch. You can have your people call my people. Yeah, I like real estate. I understand it. And most importantly, I can use it. And so can you. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth with this. This is an article. I'm going to pull out some stuff. This is an article that I found online. Again, Forbes. I like them because they're very middle of the road. This article is about wasting money renting. And that's a big thing of mine. You know, if you're renting, you're wasting money. He says, not really. But then he also goes on to say, when I was young, first married, we got a house, we had kids, they had space to run around. The happiness we found in that home was worth the money. And looking back, I'd make that decision again in a heartbeat. Okay, great. So he's going to buy a house anyway. Hopefully you're going to buy a house, or you have a house, you want to buy another house. And of course, if you want help with Kentucky, here we are. Been doing this for 40 years. He says, no, renting is not a waste of money, almost like pro-renting. But then he says he would do it again and buy that house because of how it made him feel. You need a roof over your head. The rent you're paying, you will never get back. The mortgage you're paying is broken up into several things, right? It's broken up into principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. PITI, you've probably heard that before. I'll put a chart here, and the payment you're making is actually going to your own equity. You'll never get the rent back. You're always amortizing the mortgage. You know what amortizing means? It's from the Latin word amort or whatever, and it means the killing of the loan. So you're killing that loan off. You can do a 20-year, you can do a 30-year. Those are real common. And the 30-year, the payments are a little bit lower, but the 20-year, that amortizes like an SOB. We love 20-year AMs, especially if it's commercial stuff. Now, if it's my house, I'm paying for it. But if it's our commercial properties, I'm not paying for it. That's another big plus with real estate. So is it a great investment? Well, I think it is for a lot of different reasons. And I'll go over all those reasons with you. But I'll tell you, in the late 90s, around 2000, my wife said to me, the internet was just coming on. You know, we were just having videos, but not YouTube, but we're just having videos. And when did YouTube start? Like in 06 or something like that? So it was a long time, right? It was just getting fast enough. We still had dial-up anyway. So she came to me and she says, hey, I bought a pair of shoes on the internet. I said, are you out of your freaking mind? Like, you can't buy a pair of shoes on the internet. What if they don't fit? She says, oh, there's this company and they've got the return policy. It's so easy. And I said, what's the company? Amazon. I go, hon, Amazon sells books. It doesn't sell shoes. She said, no, they got everything now. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. So she buys the shoes, they don't fit, she shows me how to do it, sends it back, I go, oh my gosh, that's revolutionary. How much stock did I buy? None. Big mistake. $250,000 in Amazon then would be worth $5.6 billion. That would be a lot. And I could have gotten a hold of 250 in 2000. We put 100 or 150 in the stock market and it was going crazy in the late 90s. I didn't know what I was doing, so I put it into mutual funds with, I can't say the name of the company, but it rhymes with Kranis. I divided up our investment in the mutual funds, with some with medical, some with biotech. I know that it went from 100% to 54% in about 2 or 3 weeks because I wasn't paying attention to it. I didn't know I had to look at it every day. I didn't know that you could sell when it was going down. I was like, where's the rest of my money? Somebody's got it. Yeah, the people who sold when it was high, just like the Bitcoin stuff. Oh, you can make all this money. You can only make money if more people are throwing money into the fund, into the pool, and then you can take their money, and then the price gets lowered and so on and so forth. Whatever. I'm fine with stocks. I think they're brilliant. I'm not smart enough to do stocks, so if I tell you to do anything with stocks, just do the opposite and you'll be fine. What I will tell you about is real estate because I know about it. I like it, I understand it, and I can use it. We've got a great farm here. You just saw a picture of my front yard with the hay. We enjoy this place so much. We watch the sunsets, we can see the pond over there, we see the storm rolling in, and every once in a while, not nightly, unfortunately, but every once in a while, my wife and I will grab a cocktail, we'll get in the little four-wheeler side-by-side thing, and we'll just go 2 miles an hour around all the farm. Sometimes we'll take the dogs with us, sometimes we'll see deer, sometimes we'll scare up some quail, and it's just magnificent. I don't care if you got 1 acre or half an acre. You can sit on the back porch, you can watch the sunset, you can sit on the deck, you can grill. There's something soulful about a home, right? You're building memories. Little plug for Apple. We love Apple. Love that. Bought another Apple, bought another Apple, bought another. Was 100%, not was, still 100% Apple since the 80s. How much stock did I buy? None. There again, it's kind of silly. But what I did do was I kept buying real estate. Now, you can knock it out of the park if you hit an Amazon or you hit a Tesla or you hit an Apple. And by the way, Tesla's never made any money. They're just doing, just like Social Security, they're banking on the new money coming in to run the stuff. Whatever, you know, again, I'm not an economist. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. But I kept buying real estate. And I kept buying more real estate and more real estate and more real estate. Now we have enough passive income that covers our whole lifestyle, amortizes like crazy. We have appreciation, and I want to kind of go over steps of real estate that I think are super important, so super important, which is ideal. First thing, income. You get income on this. Even if you made no profit every month, you're amortizing, you have depreciation. We'll talk about that in just a second. You're pairing people. You've got a product, you got someone who wants it. It's no different than building a Rolex watch or building a Ford pickup truck. You're making a product or you're providing a product or a service with someone who needs it, put it together. That's how you get successful, right? Find out what they want, go get it, give it to them. Right there it is. That's how you make $1 billion. I ain't a billionaire yet, but I try my best. And I also try not to kill myself either. Try not to work too hard. You know, we like to have a good time and cook and hang out together. Been married to Cindy for 35 years, and I can't wait till she gets home so we can play together. So you got I for income. D, the government makes you depreciate the properties. So just as a rule of thumb, about 3%. So if you got a $100,000 property, they're making you take $3,000 off your taxes every year. Now it's not a tax credit, it's depreciation, so it comes off your income. Does that make sense? I, D, E. Equity. You're building equity. As the market goes up, you're building equity. I know here on our farm, we were selling farms for $3,000, $3,500 an acre. Now don't call up and say, hey, I want 1 acre. It doesn't really work like that, right? So I'm saying in larger tracts, 50, 100, 200 acre tracts, $3,000, $4,000 an acre. That was just a few years ago. Last year, maybe $6,000. Now we're seeing sales at $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 an acre, even for smaller tracts. So it's gone a little bit bonkers. It went huge 30 years ago till about 20 years ago, and then it kind of slowed off. And I don't know what the chart is, but it's the market. So it comes and it goes. But we're really appreciative because we're in the game and things are going up. And is now the time to buy? I don't know. I can't predict that. I don't have a crystal ball. I know that if you buy now, in 5 years, as things keep going up because inflation is coming, you can't add trillions of dollars of debt without having inflation. 5 years from now, everything you buy today is going to seem like a bargain. Just like this farm. We paid $500 an acre for it. Now, it's 35 years ago, and that was still cheap. Our prices are pretty cheap here, too. You know, if you're coming from the Pacific Northwest or the West Coast or Florida or New York or Michigan, we got cheap prices here. We talked about equity. It's going up. Let me give you some statistics here. So it went up 50 grand, 50 grand, and then 150 grand. So that's why you got to be in the market. And I guarantee you, 2031, it'll be 550 or something like that. So what seems to be high today, you won't find any prices here in Kentucky. You say, oh my gosh, it sounds so high. You won't find any of those prices. 5 or 10 years from today, you're going to say, well, I'm glad I jumped in the market. Then I just found also on Forbes, it said median home price increased by 416% from 1980 to 2020. Well, that's 40 years. That's like a whole career. But still, it's 416%, and you didn't really have to do anything. And you're creating equity, and you're creating memories. Not too bad. And then, of course, the number one most ideal reason to get into real estate is leverage. If you go buy $100,000 worth of stock, you need $100,000. You want to buy a $300,000 piece of property, get in with no money down. You got to have good credit, got to have good, decent income. Everything goes by your debt to income ratio. And they'll go by a third. We talked about this on the last one. If you make $3,000 a month, you're going to qualify for about $1,000 a month for housing. So that just gives you an idea. Now, if you've got two $1,000 a month car payments, which that's how much like a Suburban or Cindy's truck or anything like that go for, it's vomitatious. I don't even want to talk about it. It's the modern day form of slavery. It's terrible. But if you've got those, they're not going to qualify you for $1,000 a month payment, house payment, on top of the two car payments. So you got to go to a competent mortgage broker and have them look at your whole picture and see what you're qualified for. You need $100,000 for $100,000 worth of stocks, but you don't need any money for $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000. We just bought a property for $1.2 million, and we didn't put any money of our own in it. You can get money out there if you got decent credit and decent income. Now, also remember, this is when you're comparing stocks and real estate. With real estate, you're going to have some expenses, and with stocks, maybe not. But also, if you drop 50% in a day, you need 100% a gain to come back, and you're just not going to have that with real estate. With stocks, mistakes are measured in money. With real estate, mistakes are measured in time. So 5 years heals everything. Well, you got to live someplace. 5 years goes by pretty quick. I would think you'd agree. But you're going to have some expenses. You're going to have a roof, and you're going to have maybe a ladder and a shed and a mower or whatever. So, but you're also going to have some fun. We have a lot of friends who live on $3,000 a month, like total, and they run a house. They live a really good quality lifestyle. It's how to live with less instead of how to live with more and make more and spend more and all that stuff. Living within your means is huge, and I know we do it, we don't do it, whatever. We spend too much on a lot of things, but you've got to live in the meantime. And if you're going to spend money, why not spend it on some real estate that's going to go up in value instead of like vacations. We like vacations too, but I see people going on these Disney cruises for like $25,000. What is wrong with you people? Yeah, the kids are cute and they're young, but half of them, they're bringing it like 3, 4 years old. I don't remember what I did when I was 3 or 4 years old. I'm not miserly. I really am not. But we try to live within our means. If you have this much cash at the end of the month and you have this many bills, you got a problem. I know, we've been there. We get it. Here's some questions you got to ask for yourself. Really, the summation of this whole thing is these 5 questions. Are you saving any money? Are you saving enough money? I wouldn't be saving it right now. Putting in your mattress. Remember, the dollar is shrinking as we're inflated. Well, I just showed you. A house price was $120,000 30 years ago. Now it's $375,000. So if you're saving money, that's a fool's game. Are you investing in yourself, in your education, and are you investing your savings? So I tell my boys, I say, just pay for what you need to barely just get by. And they've got old used hand-me-down cars. Keep them. Just do that. Just keep rolling. Take all that money and invest it. They've got their Fidelity account. That money goes right in there, and they can invest right out of there. So it's like being at the bank, but you can self-direct it, so they can buy whatever they want. Hunter just bought Carnival. It went down really low, and he bought Carnival. Why? Because he likes the cruise line, and we like to cruise. You get cruise discounts, you get some kind of special deals, and that stock should be trading in the 60s or 70s, and it went down to like $10 or $12, and that's when he bought it. So we're hoping it'll be fine, and if not, well then that's why you diversify. Here's a real key thing is, are you investing in yourself, in your education? Are you investing in all your savings? Is that getting invested, deployed? We call them all the little soldiers. Make sure those little soldiers are going out and working for you. Do you know where to invest to create cash flow? Could be on a farm. You're growing some animals. You're selling some hay. How about a fourplex where you're getting 4 rents? That would be a good cash flow, right? Do you know where to invest to create positive cash flow? That extra cash flow is great. Then plus you got all the other benefits, depreciation and equity build, the amortization. I hope I've added some value to you. Please like and subscribe. Please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you like some of this stuff. I know we got about 5 or 6 new listings coming up. They're going to be all over the board. We've got a couple in a subdivision. We've got a couple farms. We even have an Amish farm. Y'all are asking for Amish farms all the time. I'm actually going to video this Amish farm, and I'm going to bring a buddy of mine who's an electrician and also another buddy of mine who's HVAC guy, because of course it doesn't have air conditioning, and I'm sure you're going to want to have air conditioning, and it doesn't have a central heating system either. It's got a wood stove. Well, that's great unless you want to go out for a vacation and go on a Carnival cruise for a week. You can't leave your house with no heat. So I'm going to shoot that Amish place, and I'm going to take our personal trusted contractors. I will take Jackie out there for HVAC, and hopefully Eric Keller or Bobby for electrician, and just have them go through it step by step. We're going to show you where the power is on the property. There's a pole there with a transformer. So that line comes in at like 20,000 volts, and it transforms it down to 240 volts to come into your house. But we've got to get the wire from that transformer in the ground and then up and into the house. How are we going to do it? How much is it going to cost? I'm going to show you all that stuff. And then, of course, going to give you the full tour of the Amish place. That's all I got for you today. Love y'all. Peace out.
I can't wait to hear your opinions, so comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, go to our website, bluegrassteam.com/homefinder, to tell us what your ideal property looks like, and we'll send it to you. Right, Mojo?